welcome to a new episode of Hallmark Heartbeats, a podcast all about Hallmark movies. Happy holidays, everybody. We're almost to the new year, thank God. So, I'm your host, Camila, and again, I'm joined by my friend Kayla as we talk Christmas movies. And this week, we are joined again by two beautiful women. We've had them both separate times before. we had Megan during Taking the Reins, and then we had Nikki during 5 More Minutes, and now we get them together because they are the writing team of Christmas for Keeps that just came out on Saturday in Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, part of the Miracles of Christmas. How are you guys, ladies? Thank you again for joining us, and we are honored that both of you guys agreed to talk to us again.
Yes. Oh, so happy to be here together. Better together. That's what we always say.
Thank you. Always. That's our motto.
Yes,
better together.
Really.
We can't do anything without each other. It's actually a healthy codependence.
Exactly.
No, it was so funny because I was telling, I was just thinking about like, wow, this is the second time that I have both of them. This is awesome. How do I, like, I don't think many people could say that. So, before we start talking about Christmas for Keeps, can we just talk about the wonders of Taking the Reins? I mean, we talked to both of you guys individually about it, but like, I wanted to let y'all know that was like one of my favorite movies of 2021.
Aww.
I mean, it was awesome. I don't know how you guys came up with that movie.
Oh, Camille, thank you. I will say
such a labor of love.
Yeah, and also Megan and I were talking about this the other day as we were, as a partnership, closing out our 20. We're still not, I mean, we have so much work to do in the next couple of weeks. So I don't know what I'm talking about closing anything out. But I was like, I don't think I'll ever get over that. Like, I don't think I'll ever get over that movie because Megan and I met so many years ago in acting class. We became friends first. She brought me in on this project that on an IP that had been delivered to her. IP, for anyone listening who doesn't know, it's an intellectual property, and she brought me in on it. And thank God she did, because she ended up being my perfect partner, like legit, like we have the same brain. but actually it also function, like the things that she's really strong at, the things that sometimes I have a harder time with, and
vice versa.
And we complement each other so well. But then also it was just like sitting across from each other day one of filming, and
I'm getting chills.
I just like I couldn't. We're sitting across from each other in this scene, and we had done this many times before in acting class.
In acting class, not on set.
Never on a set. And we had worked so hard for years. We'd been working so hard to break in as writers. And we did so many drafts of just like free work in order to be able to just become writers, right? And here we were sitting on set, this idea that we had given birth to, this script that we had rewritten. We were producers on it, but not only that, we were acting together in a scene. That was the straw that, like, for me, broke my emotional back. I was like, I don't think I'll ever get over this. And then we were walking out after doing the first bit of it to change, and she's going to her trailer and I'm going to my trailer, and I'm like, Megan, I'm like freaking out.
We have it all on video. We have the best videos that Nikki captured. It was surreal.
Yeah, it was so
very
surreal.
special.
Megan, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I mean, all I'll add is me sitting on the George Washington Bridge driving to Connecticut, and I did that trip many times for Taking the Reins, and it hit me, and I'll never get over it either, but it hit me what I was actually going to do. And I got there the night before we started shooting, and we started with the Amanda Sam scenes.
Yeah.
And so I didn't see Nikki right away, but the next morning I wake up early and I go to my costume fitting, and I'm having this fabulous costume fitting. And Nikki was staying at an Airbnb, and I was at the hotel, and they said, oh, well, Nikki's next door in makeup. And let me backtrack for a second, because as I was sitting on the George Washington Bridge in traffic, it hit me that there was a reason why I was going to be in the movie as well. Like, we were already producing it. We're already working hard on rewriting it. But me being, as my military husband says, boots on the ground, there was a reason, because I needed to be there to physically with Nick. And so I'm in my costume fitting, and they're like, Nikki's next door doing her makeup test. And I was like, she's here? And we walked in. We have a picture of this too. And we just held each other for like, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes. And everyone, our director, our creative producer, there was some deep, heavy life stuff going on in the midst of all of this. And they just were like, who are you two? And we were like, we're partners. This is who we are. And it was just, and that's what that day preceded our first day on set that Nikki just referred to. And I, I'm really proud of us. I'm always proud of our work, but I'm really proud of us for being so present in every moment of crafting that, and being on set and wearing all the hats. And we never, we held each other accountable and tried to really make sure we didn't ever take any moment for granted. And we'll hold on to it forever.
How long have you guys been friends?
2011? Was it before I had Mackenzie or after?
You were pregnant with Huck, and we were in class together. We because remember that picture? Remember the picture of you at Warner's old studio, and you were very
No,
pregnant.
That was Mac. That was Mackenzie. I have known you, Nikki DeLoach, since 2011. And I posted this about about Christmas for Keeps. I first met her. She was my substitute teacher. This whole teacher theme is so special to us. I don't know anyone else who honors and believes in teachers and the power of teachers and mentors than Nikki. And she was my substitute teacher in my acting class. Wow. And I wrote this on a post a couple of days ago. And then if you would have told me then, in 2011, then it was, that we would be doing what we're doing now, I would have been like, what? I mean, it's just nothing short of divine. But yeah, we met in the acting class in 2011, and she taught me.
And then you far surpassed any of my teaching skills so quickly and became like the favored teacher at the studio.
That's just because I got a master's in it. That's just because I went to school for it. But she is a gifted coach and teacher. And Camille, I mean, teaching is mentoring. It comes in so many forms, right? Yeah. And what we do now, Nikki teaches so many through what we do now. She talk about taking the reins and her leader. I can't cry this whole time. Her leadership on set, people, you can't help but be better and brighter when you're around her. As an actor, as a producer, a crew, everyone. Like she's constantly teaching. So.
Oh, thank you, Megan, for saying that. I will have to say that means a lot to me. Thank you. I will have to say though that it's interesting. We had never been on set together, and so I was like, how are we going to be in that environment together as a team? And it made me so excited because it was even better than I could have possibly imagined. And it made me so excited for our future because I was like, oh my gosh, I knew we were so perfect for each other and what we were doing. But then anytime you change dynamics, you just want to know, how do we fit in that dynamic? And I was just like, oh, I mean, I don't even have words for it. I would look over and Megan is taking care of she's taking care of people and she's making sure everyone's good and she's doing her thing and making people laugh and I'm over there doing my thing. And then we come together and we're like, hey, okay, so did you get the notes on this? No, I can do that if you'll do this and blah, blah, blah. Okay, bye. See you in a second.
We're talking about another scene and then we would go into the current scene we were shooting and just like that, we were there because we trusted each other.
It was just effortless. It was divine and it was effortless and I will never, ever forget it. I will never get over it for the rest of my life.
That's awesome. You guys do seem like you guys are perfect for each other.
And you also mentioned you also wrote Christmas for Keeps. What was your inspiration for writing Christmas for Keeps?
Well,
I'm going to let you start, Nick, with the hometown of it all, and then I can.
Yeah, Christmas for Keeps originally was a totally different script. It was a sample that we wrote, again, going back to the like really trying to earn it. Like both of us are the exact same in this way, which we have a really, really great work ethic. And we also don't expect anything to be given to us. So I went to Randy Pope many years ago, and I said, I want us to write for your network, myself and Megan. And I think we would do a great job. And he said, okay, we'll go write a script. And if it's good enough, then I'll give you a chance. So we went away and wrote a script and sent it into the network, and it got great. It was circulated around and got great feedback. And they were like, all right, let's give you the chance. Let's give you this chance. And then things shifted a little bit at the network, and the executive who was in charge of our movie wanted to do something a little different, because this was really a sample what we did before. And it was kind of like very similar to other stories that have been told on Hallmark. And we were at a place at Hallmark where we were really wanting to tell different stories, bigger stories, deeper stories. And so we then pivoted, and I had always wanted to do, I don't know if you remember the movie, The Big Chill. Mm-hmm. I had always wanted to do The Big Chill for Hallmark. So I was like, what if we did The Big Chill for Hallmark? And then our executive was like, ooh, I like that. Tell me more.
So it was like 5 friends. We were already shifting away from just this like main love interest, right?
Yep. Yeah. And then Megs, if you want to talk about the teaching part of it and why we wanted to do that.
I don't, and I think it was one of those magical moments where I think our executive and the two of us kind of all congealed at once, and we each had our own version, as you've already talked about, Camille, and we all do, of that special teacher. And so we took The Big Chill and then inserted this idea that the reason they're coming home, and the whole Big Chill of it was people that know you better than anyone else. And they always will, even if you've been away from home for a while, you haven't talked to them for a while. But what if they came home to honor this teacher that meant so much to them? I had my high school drama teacher that was my inspiration while we were writing. Nikki has someone very special to her that I'm sure she'll talk about. And our executive had one too. And we, everyone has one. And so that's how the teacher aspect came into it. I obviously have taught for over 20 years. Nikki's mother is a lifelong educator. She taught me, and we just thought we can honor teachers. And we can honor arts and education and drama teachers while focusing on a story of 5 friends that are nearing their 30s and are looking at the gap between where they thought they would be at that point in their lives and maybe where they're not, and how they can lean on each other to get back to that place. That's where kind of all the magic happened. But there were many iterations before that.
and 30 is really that age where you go, am I where I'm supposed to be? Because I had that moment when I turned 30 and I was like, I'm not where I wanted to be, but I was way behind in life where other people were, because my disability held me back from things that other people should have been able to overcome. I wasn't. So
yeah, I mean, the movie, like you said, is about 5 friends who came home to kind of honor their teacher. We all have that one teacher. Who was your Mr. Massey?
Nick, go first.
My Mr. Massey was, let me begin by saying probably the most influential people in my life have all been teachers. And that goes all the way back to like preschool. I can name every teacher I've ever had in my life. All of them came to my wedding when I got married. Not a joke. Preschool, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, like all the way up, including Mr. Chuck Yerger, who was the teacher. He was the principal whenever I started on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh.
Never met any human being. There will never be another who will ever come close to this man and his impact on every single human being. So he taught us when we were kids on this TV show. And then after that, I continued to act and be in the business, but I wanted to still get my high school diploma. And he was the one, he proctored all of my exams. He taught me every single subject except for math. He refused to teach math. Every single subject. So I would live in LA and I would come out here, I would work. I was on a TV show or doing movies or whatever. Then I would fly to Florida where he was once or twice a month. And we would just take weekends and we would just all weekend long, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. By the way, this is a man who worked Monday through Fridays.
That's where you get your work ethic from. Now I get it.
And then he would also work all day Saturday, all day Sunday, maybe Friday and Monday as well. We would try to get like 3 to 4 days in every trip. And we would just go through everything. He would give me all of my assignments. I would go back to LA, I'd do everything and then come back. And we did this and I graduated high school 2 years early. He also directed every Shakespearean play. He did the summers in Orlando and Winter Park. They always had a Shakespearean like summer fest, and he directed all of the plays. When I tested for Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, he was my coach. He was a philosopher and he passed away. He was a philosopher. He was the most brilliant human being I've ever known. He was kind and funny and so supportive. And him and his wife, Sherry, I am so blessed. I am a lot of the reason why I'm the person I am today is because not just because of Charles, but because of Sherry, his wife as well.
Megan.
I love that. I've heard these stories. I just love it. I love it so much. My inspiration is Demi Ashton, Mrs. Ashton, and she's very much still with us. In fact, we connected today, and I was literally bouncing around my family room, saying to my husband, and I called her Mrs. Ashton, and because I wanted to tell her to watch tomorrow night. And her first response to me was, you can call me Demi now. And I said, I wrote Demi, but then I deleted it. And I wrote Mrs. Ashton and then I deleted it. She was our drama teacher all throughout high school. And just like Nikki said, from Mrs. Johnson in first grade to Bob Chapel, the head of our drama department at University of Virginia, also at my wedding, to Warner Laughlin, our dear Mama Warner mentor,
Warner.
The most brilliant, where we met. Every teacher is important to me. It's why I knew I wanted to be a teacher as a young girl. But Demi Ashton was special. Demi and Charlie Ashton, married couple, he taught math. She taught me from freshman drama to advanced drama and directed all the spring musicals. And I know everyone says like, oh, my high school musicals were so good. Demi Ashton was a professional and our productions were really good. And there's a scene, I told her on text today, I was like, you're going to watch and you'll know the scene that is literally ripped from your classroom. She was so special. She would read to us from Eloise. She would, she was wild and fun and we would do anything. I would take her direction anywhere. In fact, senior year, I had always been in the chorus. And then senior year, she did Sweet Charity and I got to be Charity next to Catherine and Amelia, my 2 Jersey besties. And Mrs. Ashton, Demi asked me to chop my hair off. It was not an attractive look. It worked for Charity. I chopped my hair off and I went.
He does not like doing this.
I went to first year of UVA with like this really weird growing out look, but I would do it again. And it wasn't until taking the reins that I did that. When Claire, our director, asked me to cut my hair before the first day of shooting, I was like, sure. She's like, you're so like willing. I was like, I did it in high school. Demi and Charlie were really special. Watching them, he was our musical director. And she was obviously the director. She held the auditions were like professional auditions. I was able to go to college and compete against grad students and audition in New York because Demi taught us how to do it. Yeah. And watching them not only made me believe I could go into the arts and have a career, but it made me believe that I would have such joy doing it. And it's thanks to them.
Well, my teacher, I told you, Megan, yesterday, his name is Mr. Streamy, John Streamy, and I still call him Mr. Streamy. It would be weird to all of a sudden call him John. But he was my AP calculus teacher. I took AP calculus in senior year in high school, and math was always my strong suit in all throughout my schooling. So I'm not shocked at all that it would be a math teacher, but his life lessons went beyond the classroom, if that makes sense. It wasn't just derivatives and finding the tangent and all these other stuff that had to do with calculus. But one of my favorite things that he used to always say to me, I told you, Megan, is he used to say, "You're the good," which stood for you're a never give upper. Don't give up on life. You don't give up on math. You don't give up on life. And this was true because when I was in, no matter how hard the math problems were, I would always be the one that was trying really, really hard to get it. And I'd get frustrated too when I never got it right. But even years later, he still affected me and, touched me and stuff like that in the lessons that he taught and things. So
Love that.
I don't know if he's alive. I haven't heard from him in a while. I looked him up on Facebook, but his Facebook page doesn't exist anymore. So, but yeah.
And I mean, I mentioned my college radio professor, but in high school, my history teacher, my honors history teacher was amazing. And every time she saw me after high school, around town, wherever it was, the movie theater or the grocery store, she'd always stop and say hi to me. So she remembers her students, and that, and in a town where a school were 3,000 students, you think you wouldn't remember your students, but she did.
Wow.
Yeah.
They say it only takes one person to believe in you for you to believe in yourself. And most of the time, that one person is a teacher.
Yeah. God, I'm gonna start crying now. Stop. Yeah, because
I know, Camille, we know, believe me.
That's why we wrote this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Are any of the characters in this movie based on a real person, or which character did you relate to the most?
Actually, that's pretty funny because in the beginning, all the characters have different names now, except for Ben. Ben was always Ben, and Avery was always Avery. But a lot of them have their names were changed because they were based on people in our lives. Because I mean, for me especially, I come from a really small town, and I'm still friends with everyone that I went to preschool with. Still. So usually when I would go home for the holidays, I wish I was this year, we would all get together, all of us. We would go to Trey's Tractor Shelter. Trey Walker's one of my best friends. Him and Brian Henry were my two first friends that I ever had in preschool.
I cannot wait to meet Trey Walker one day because I've heard so much about him.
He's the best. And so one of the characters is loosely inspired by him. They're loosely inspired. I mean, when you have to take creative liberties and, arc things out differently and obviously change certain things to fit the story that you're telling. But the actual spirit of these real people are alive inside of these characters, including the mom and the dad and obviously the teacher and all the kids. I mean, listen, if you can't use pieces of your life and infuse it creatively into story, then I don't know what you're doing.
Out of all of the characters, I think most of my notes was about Noah and the mom.
Okay, so let's get into
Yeah.
it. Let's get into
I
it.
know. Let's do it.
What about Noah?
Oh, well, first of all, I love the fact that he was a stay-at-home dad, because he was like, because nowadays that's so rare to be. It's mostly stay-at-home mom, and I did love the fact that he was there for his kid. Also, I'm sitting there, and also like I'm thinking to myself, wow, I imagine a lot of stay-at-home moms also have that same thing where like, okay, I stayed home with my kid so you can raise your dream. When is it my turn, kind of thing? That he also dealt with in the movie, and First of all, I'm a big Cardi fan. Cardi Wong fan. So I was like, yay, the dude finally got like his main plot line and everything. And I love
good.
And the mom, I might have cussed her out a couple of times in the movie.
Oh yeah. I was like, what in the world? This woman has issues.
I'm sorry. I might have cussed her out a couple of times, but like she was controlling.
Yes.
He was like, what the hell? I was thinking to myself, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you like, I get it. There are parents out there who I guess push their dreams on their children kind of thing. But it's like, at some point you got to stop doing that and like realize that your kid is their own person, and like let her make her own decisions or whatever. But yeah, when we find out that she turned in her application to University of Virginia or whatever, without her daughter's knowledge, I was cussing her out. I'm sorry.
No, but then it can lead to the good. Then Avery can finally let her know, like, I am my own person, and Avery changes her.
Yeah.
There are parents like this.
Yeah, I think that was the moment when she stood up to her mother. I was like, yes, exactly. That's exactly what you should have done like ages ago.
But it's hard, when you
couldn't do it till then.
Yeah. And I think that, we really wanted to tell that story because I think so many people struggle. So many parents struggle too with having a certain idea about who they want their kids to be. Mm-hmm. And the closer their kids are to them, the better they feel about the way they lived their life. Right. Mm-hmm. And also it's the cyclical thing that happens where, as Patricia explains at the very end, and she says, my mother did this to me and I didn't know any better. So I thought I was being a good parent. Right.
She looked at it as control means love.
Control means love.
Yes. Exactly.
I was like, thank you for realizing, no, it's not.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like we either seek, and this is something we learned from our teacher, Warner Laughlin, we either seek to repeat or repair that which we learned in childhood. And most people choose repeat. Mm-hmm. So you get this cyclical behavior of, their mother doing this to them. And so then they do that to their children. And then, and their children do that to their children without stopping to say, actually, I don't like this. This doesn't feel good to me. And it's so hard to do that with a parent because all you ever want to do is make your parents proud and please them. And then be part of becoming an adult. And this is why we put that storyline in there. Part of becoming an adult and being on the precipice of 30 years old is taking accountability and responsibility for your own choices and for your life and deciding to break patterns.
Yep.
That have, that's around the time in my life where I was really, really sitting down and thinking about what belongs to me. Yes. And what belongs to my mother, what belongs to me and what belongs to my grandmother, what belongs to me and what belongs to this industry that has told me all the time that I'm disposable. Do I believe that, or is that just the message that the industry wants me to believe because the industry functions better when I have low self-worth? You know what I mean? So like all of these things I began to ask myself. So that was a really important relationship for this movie because of that.
Yeah. And, and it was such a beautiful relationship to write alongside Avery's relationship with Mr. Massey, because she always got that intrinsic confidence and worth from him, but she was still seeking it from her mother, right? And I love what you said, Nikki, about that age. I mean, that's the age I moved across the country. And though I wasn't having kids yet, I got married at 29, and I'm already thinking about the patterns that I want to break and what I want to pass on to my future children. But I wasn't I didn't have the capability to enact those changes yet.
Right.
And it depends on who you surround yourself with. Yet again, her friends and Mr. Massey. But I hope you felt some relief, Camille, when she did stand up to her at the end, and when
definitely
Virginia does change.
Oh, Virginia, not Patricia, Virginia.
No, it is Patricia.
Way too many.
We can't remember. We changed the name so many times. No, I think because it was placed in Virginia. I used to drive through Culpeper from New Jersey to get to UVA when I went to University of Virginia. So that's the town.
Didn't we change it to Patricia?
It's Patricia because you couldn't have a character Virginia.
Oh, that's right.
In Virginia. But we honestly can't remember because we changed the names. At one point, Network was like, no more name changes.
That is too funny. But no, I mean, like, one thing I did find out through this is that you want a reaction from people. So like, even if you don't like something, or if you do like something, you want a reaction because you want people. That's what the whole goal is to
Think about it.
Yep. So, but we did like the movie.
Yes,
definitely.
Good. I mean, I think everyone has one family member that they're trying to live up to their expectations. Mine was my maternal grandmother, so I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is a whole family. Anyway, what kind of message would you like viewers to take from this movie?
Oh, well, I love that you went on Facebook to try to find your teacher. I want people I would love for people to search to really think about, what lessons did I take away from that pivotal time in my life, and who gave me those lessons? And I'd love for people to try to reach out to these teachers. I don't know. That's one thing I would love. And reconnect.
Yeah. And I would also love for people to walk away understanding that, it's okay to shift and change and become someone else. And it's also okay to remember who you used to be and want to go back to that person, right? One thing I feel very strongly about is that as children, we are born the purest form of ourselves, right? And then somewhere along the way, society tells us that that's not okay, or you're not okay in this way, or you need to be more like this, or you need to be, and we begin to lose the pieces of ourselves along the way.
Yeah.
And what happens when a teacher really sees us for who we really are, it gives us, Camille, like you were saying, when you were in your darkest places, you remembered your teacher and your teacher's words. That's because your teacher saw you, really saw you, and you felt that and you knew that. So for me, I encourage everyone to find the people in their lives that truly see them for who they really are. Hold on to those people with everything you've got. And also, I would encourage people to remember who you were when you came into this world. Who was I when I was a kid? What did I yearn for? What did I long for? What brought me joy? What brought me happiness? And when did I begin to let go of that? That would also, but I love what Megan said. And I think, yes, find your teachers who inspired you and thank them, send them a note, call them, email, whatever. And also don't be afraid to remember who you are and to start moving in that direction in your life of finding that person again.
It's too bad my partner has no wisdom or insight. Too bad about that, isn't it? Like,
Thanks, Lex.
Do you have any future projects just before we go?
where do we begin?
A whole lot.
Hold my beer. It's a hold my beer moment. Let's see. Oh, Megan, yes, Camille, we have a lot of projects that we are literally, we have a show that we pitched this week. We sold a TV show earlier this year that we're so excited to get into at the top of 2022. We're taking out another TV show at the top of the year. Two other TV shows
together. Yeah, that was the one brought us together.
Yeah, and then we also have about 1,800 pitches that we have to finish, including another pitch that we're sending out the script to next week before the break for a network to read through. We don't know how to just do one thing.
We also don't know how to celebrate because we just keep working. But I will say that when Taking the Reins aired, I didn't have Nikki because she was shooting 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
So we had Nikki. Eliza was at my house when we were on before Camille, and we screened in my backyard, and Nikki was on Zoom. So I will say that tomorrow night, I get Nikki in person with her family and my family, and we're going to watch together. So we are going to take that. We are going to take that moment, but we're going to work up until it, and we're going to work the next day and the next days after. But we are going to stop and honor for about 2 hours.
As our literary manager said to us, this is no joke. We went in to have a meeting with him, and he looked at us terrified, like terror.
All the things we had to do.
Complete terror on his face, and said, "You guys are nuts."
And we go, yeah, we know. So which one are we starting with first?
Yeah, we know this. Well, you're not telling us anything that surprises us. We're insane people. We totally understand this. Now, can we talk about the work?
Well, I've been trying to pitch for people to write a story about a disabled person. So can we please pitch to you guys someone?
One of the concepts we have is, I don't know if you know this, Camille and Kayla, because I'm just meeting you today. I have my master's in special ed, and one of the concepts we've been throwing around that we want to develop is all about that. I actually want to do a redoing of The Miracle Worker, but like twist and turn it. But we have some other ideas too. So we're working on it, Camille.
That is literally one of the treatments we're going to be putting together. So
yeah, I mean,
if you guys want consults, we are here.
Yeah,
we're both just saying.
Thank you, ladies, for letting us talk to you. I'm 100. This is probably like, I know people are gonna like this movie. Everyone, like you said, everyone has a teacher. Everyone has a role model.
And it's a different movie than what you're used to. It's not the same formula. And I loved that.
Yep.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
We love hearing that.
Okay, so thank you guys. And
thank you.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Kayla, Camille.
We appreciate all your love and all your support, and we really appreciate you having us on. Merry Christmas.
Yes,
very much so.
See you next year.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.